There was a record-breaking number of Asian celebrities that walked their way down the red carpet at the Met Gala this year, and we are going to tell you why it was kind of important that they did.
Or not, depending on how you view the development of Asians in America. The Met Gala is an elite institution. It is a very big deal to get an invitation in a way.
Yeah.
It used to be reserved for New York's elite, sort of like the Bruce Waynes of Gotham City. Jacqueline Onassis used to go. Then, of course, it started shifting over to be more like celebrities and arts and fashion over the year. But is it significant that a record number of Asians from America, from Asia, from Europe, got invited to the gala this year?
Yeah, because they kind of have to be validated by a certain group of people. We are talking about the elites. Like Anna Wintour has to know your name. Anna Wintour knows who Simu Liu is, and Michelle Yeoh, and Stephanie Su. She knows these people by name.
But of course, us, you guys, we have our mind in the industry, but we also are very, very much in tune with what your average Asian American just trying to have a good life in America is into. And I do think your average Asian American, Andrew, probably has no idea what the Met Gala is.
No, I don't think they really care, and you maybe don't need to care, but it's essentially like the New York's version of the Oscars, except it's for fashion. Anyways, guys, we're gonna go through the list of the Asians that showed up at the Met Gala, that got invited. Some of them are familiar and some of them are not so familiar, but they're all bona fide stars in their own way. So we'll talk about Asian representation. Please hit that like button. Check out other episodes of the Hot Pot Boys. David, who's the number one person that we gotta talk about? We've talked about her before. Who is it?
We got to lead off with the new queen of the Chinese English-speaking world, or Asian English-speaking world, Michelle Yeoh. Born in Malaysia, got rich in Hong Kong and China, and at 60 years old, re-emerged as an Oscar winner in America.
Yes, I know that many people are arguing about my origin, whether I am from Hong Kong or from Malaysia. But either way, as long as you call me the queen. You know what's funny? Like, I know that she hasn't got that official title, but I personally cannot think of another like older woman that is like so revered in the Asian celebrity world right now.
Right.
I'm sure there's some in Japan and Korea that like I don't know, but and even of China, but globally, she's kind of the it one. She's it.
I would say so. She wore a gown inspired by Karl Lagerfeld, and that was the whole theme of the event, Andrew. It was a gown tuxedo, but I felt like there was still some ancient Chinese traits to the way the silhouette was cut. So I thought that was cool. But anyway,
I like it whenever they do that. You know, they can tie in culture into the more Western gown.
I mean, I think my cultural hot take on Michelle Yeoh is it's really cool to see Asian celebrities come over at 60, and they've been rich and famous, and they've gone through these roller coasters in the East, but it's like they get on an upswing playing like mom or grandma characters in America, which is like Michelle Yeoh's story now, and I think that's pretty interesting. I do think it's tough to say that, she really represents like people who struggled, because I think she came from quite an illustrious family and had a great, career. You know what I mean? But like, I still think it's good.
She definitely doesn't like represent like the regular common person. But I will say this, at least all you Asians out there who are in the industry and can't make it for a couple decades, who knows? When you're 50 or 60, they might call you back.
Well, you just have to be super successful in Asia first. Do you think it's weird though? Like, do you think any Asian American kids watching media right now are like, why are we looking up to like Rich Brian and Michelle Yeoh? They're from like Malaysia and Indonesia. Is that the best Asian rapper and best Asian actress?
I'll be honest. I think the Asian American identity pretty much is just Asians who speak English.
Right, at a like 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, like it could even be with an accent. Like it doesn't matter. As long as you're Asian and you speak English.
You do not have to be an American passport holder.
Dude, as long as you're Asian and you speak English, you can represent and still help Asian Americans, because it's true that a lot of Asians still living in America speak English with an accent, to be honest.
Right,
so,
statistically speaking,
yeah,
that is
so
true.
Like she represents our parents or our aunties or whatever.
Moving on to number 2, Andrew, Ke Huy Quan. Incredible comeback story. Shut out of the game for 35 years. He was a refugee from Vietnam. He moved to the 626, graduated from Alhambra High School. He became Dad in the Goonies, Short Round in Indiana Jones, and then now he won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
Yo, his suit, the Karl Lagerfeld homage, that was pretty cool. I honestly thought he was dressed like an assassin.
Yeah.
And then I realized that's how Karl Lagerfeld used to dress.
Yeah, he was a fashion assassin.
I only remember Karl Lagerfeld really from that one line.
From J.R. Ryder, right?
Yeah.
J.R. Rennell's as hard as hell. With a gun, it'll hit you from far as hell. Something Karl Lagerfeld. Yeah, anyway. Shout out to Dipset.
Yeah, we really remember that line, yeah.
I think that he also took some stuff from In the Mood for Love, because he actually had that scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once where he was, very classical, wearing those exact same glasses.
That's true. That's true.
Andrew, what is your hot take? Because for us, I think I've been hearing a lot of stuff from a lot of people in Hollywood. They're so proud of Ke Huy Quan. He's very pro-Asian. You know what I mean? He's got a mixed Asian story. He's Chinese, Vietnamese. But some people are like, do you wish that Ke Huy Quan would have called out the industry for shutting him out for 35 years? Or is it just good that he's so grateful that they finally gave him this great award after 35 years?
I like in Michelle Yeoh's case, I don't personally connect with them that closely. But I like to hear the story. I'm happy for them. I think it's good. Obviously, we grew up watching Michelle Yeoh. I remember Ke Huy Quan from watching the movies when I was younger that were already old, because he's a lot older than me, obviously. But personally, yeah, he's super grateful for the industry, even though the industry shut him out. So it's kind of weird, but either way, I guess overall, I take it. It's great. It's a good story.
I'm happy for Ke. Moving on to number 3, Andrew, Stephanie Hsu. Stephanie Hsu played the daughter in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Apparently, she was actually in some other stuff too that obviously I hadn't seen prior, but that was her big breakout role. I think the thing that really strikes me about her is she's very Williamsburg, Brooklyn, very Silver Lake.
Yeah, I would say, of the Asian stars, I guess, I don't want to say I was surprised that she was here, but because she was a supporting actress in Everything Everywhere All at Once, even though Ke Huy was the main male lead, and then she was the second.
She got a nomination.
But she is kind of in that hipster world, and she's artsy, even though that's her biggest movie yet, but she is in some upcoming projects that are also pretty big. So,
I liked her look a lot, man. She went with a Valentino tuxedo-inspired 1970s dress, but with a tie and a dress and the Janelle Monáe haircut, and I thought she did a good job because she's obviously trying to represent her identity.
Yeah, and I do like how the Asians who came to the Met Gala, they try to fit into the theme. They try to do something really cool and edgy, as you are supposed to when you go to the Met Gala, right? You want to stand out and let people know, yo, I'm here, I made it.
And I think everybody was looking at everybody's unique twist on the Karl Lagerfeld theme, right? I mean, my hot take is generally man, it's really dope to see an Asian American make it. That does feel like somebody I know. It's not necessarily somebody from the city I grew up in, because I think, from a nicer city for sure than the one we grew up in. But Bellevue or something, Bellevue, Washington could totally produce a Stephanie Hsu. And I still went to church with people like this, and it's pretty cool to see them get big. Jennie from Blackpink, Andrew. Jennie is the most popular member of the K-pop group Blackpink after Lisa. And she actually spent 5 years in New Zealand. She could speak English, but a lot of people describe her as sort of westernized, but still shy. So, did you know who Jennie from Blackpink was?
I knew of her. I didn't know her backstory. I didn't know she is from New Zealand.
Yeah, she speaks English pretty fluently.
I think that's cool. I mean, she does kind of remind, I think, because I know that they used to sometimes make K-pop stars out of Korean Americans and Asian Americans. But I think it's cool that these stars now are a little bit more westernized or American. They're not necessarily specifically American, but New Zealand is Western world as a British, colony originally. So I guess
No, are you surprised that more and more of the younger Asian stars are super fluent in English?
Yeah, but I think a lot of them have influences, and a lot of them spent time in at least Australia, Britain, New Zealand, or America.
Right. It's
or
true.
Canada.
Her outfit was Karl Lagerfeld inspired, but almost more of an Audrey Hepburn type vibe. It was from Chanel, has the Coco Chanel vibe to it. I don't know much about fashion. I just made that up, literally. So I just said it looks like Austin Powers to me. I mean, honestly, I had no idea really who she was. I had seen her photo everywhere. But I'm a fan. I watched a bunch of her interviews in preparation for this video.
I had friends, some of our friends who went to Coachella. They went crazy when Jennie and the Blackpink, they headlined Coachella. So that was crazy.
Shout out to Lisa, too. Number 5, Andrew, Simu Liu. Simu Liu is probably the biggest Asian American male representation we have in Hollywood right now. He's a friend of ours. We hoop from time to time. I'm rooting for him 100%. He had a Donatella Versace personally designed Karl Lagerfeld joint, which was super flashy because on his, is this the lapel or his chest part? It had that
just a suit
ribbon
dress.
Ice cream cake thing that Italians eat, the ribbony, the cake, the ice cream cake with the ribbon top.
I believe they call those, I don't know, ruffles, layers? I don't know. It was cool. I liked how his suit looked different because it had a different pattern on it. So, that was already standing out. So,
No, it's dope that he stood out, but I'm not going to lie. That's not the suit that's the best looking to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think Simu was out there to stand out, to be a good representation. And yeah, I mean, overall,
I mean, it is true. I guess on the internet, some people, as much as Simu says great things and people love him, people try to like bring him down.
Yeah, but
it's like weird because he hasn't really done anything that big. But apparently some people don't like his like online persona.
No, I think it's just because he speaks on a lot of stuff, and he like as engaging as he is, as engaging as you are. There's going to be some people who don't like you. And just like us, like if we were to engage more with people, maybe, I don't know, there'd be more people who liked it and then some more people who didn't like it.
I will say this. I think he challenges the idea that an Asian star is just trying to stay neutral, make as much money as they can, and not polarize anybody.
Right.
Because he's not shy to share his opinions on issues that are potentially divisive or polarizing.
I will say this. He does not care if someone says, oh, Simu, you suck. Like he'll run with
and I'm saying in a way, like the most Asian American to me stereotypical thing is somebody who's like so worried about their career and just trying to make as much money that they almost never even show who they are. To me, that would be super Asian and stereotypical.
That's a good point.
Moving on to number 6, Andrew, we got Jackson Wang. He's probably the only Chinese pop star who's crossing over to the West a little bit, but especially with Asian American audiences.
You know, I was just got to think about it. Between Kihui, Simu, and Jackson, pretty good representation for Asian males and Asian women, of course, too. But I'm just obviously focused on the Asian male because we usually get shafted the most. So, yeah, I would say between all these guys, I'm pretty proud of them, man. They're all cool dudes, chill dudes. I've been able to interact with all of them on some level. Even Jackson, I exchanged some messages with him. He seems really chill. He did Coachella this year too.
Yeah. And he used to be an athlete, right? He said he hoops
yeah,
too.
he hoops a little bit, or at least he used to. And he's cool dude. So
yeah, I mean, I'd say he had on the Michael Jackson, blacked out Matrix, Karl Lagerfeld fusion joint on.
Yeah, I mean, he pulls off stuff, you know, that maybe I would have trouble pulling off.
No,
but,
I mean, I'm a fan of Jackson's stuff. I would say, you know, his music videos and maybe sonically the music, it's not for me.
No, it's not for you.
It's
David.
not for me.
It is not for
but
you.
I can see the artistry, and he's pushing the envelope and the boundaries.
David, hey, guess what? It's not for you.
Moving on to number 7, Eileen Gu. Eileen Gu, who won a gold medal, Andrew, interestingly enough, for China, caused a huge controversy.
So are we calling her Asian American or are we calling her Chinese and just leave it at that?
Well, here's the thing. Once she won the gold medal, she came back to America, called herself Chinese American or Asian American, and then some fans in China got mad because they thought that she had taken on Chinese citizenship.
But she didn't.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. A lot of countries are given temporary citizenship nowadays, 6 months, 1 year.
Yeah, you know, Eileen, you can be a citizen of China for the next 4 months.
She had a very Asian American or Asian inspired dress on from a Hong Kong designer named Robert Won. What is your hot take on this, man? Because this one gets real, actually, like geopolitical. I'm pretty sure presidents know who Eileen Gu is.
I think, to be honest, the average person does not really care about who wins the gold medal for skiing. Like, to be honest, like just the average person, right? But Eileen, to me, is almost more of like an icon and model at this point, you know? Yeah. She's very good looking, and but she is also talented, and obviously she still won the gold, like, you know.
What do you think about this argument over, like, are you loyal to America? And then people are like, I thought you said you're Chinese. It seems like all your friends are white. I mean, dude, I don't know, man. I think being a superstar hop is complicated. I'm sure you're just trying to do your thing and not even think about any of this because you're worried about your lane.
Listen,
but
like,
I do think that it's legitimate, I guess, as cultural analysts, you know, analyzers, for us to analyze the fray because I'm not Eileen Gu living her life.
All right, I'll watch this. This is the credit I give him. Who knows that maybe in 15 years from now, we realize that what Eileen Gu did in bridging Chinese and Chinese America and Hoppas was actually fairly significant. It could be.
Right.
No,
We don't know how the dominoes and the butterfly.
You don't know because it's just the first. It's kind of jumbled. And It's kind of weird. And yeah, anyways.
I'll say this, man. I think a lot of Hoppas, let me say this. Most Hoppas are generally not going to be freedom fighters and revolutionaries for like Asian causes like Muhammad Ali. You know, they're not going to be that style. They're going to be more like Jesse Williams or Doja Cat for their causes. You know what I mean? Because they're kind of like in between, yeah.
Hey, man. Who
knows?
Ain't
nothing wrong with it. Hey, man, live your life. Number 8, Andrew, Song Hai Ko. She is one of the top K-drama actresses in Korea.
Shout out to her, man.
I definitely recognize her face.
Yeah, I recognize her face. I'm not familiar really with her work, but I think it's really cool that she got to meet up with Jennie from Blackpink there. So that's kind of like this like buddy, but like, look, like Korea in the house. Korea #1.
Yeah, and she did the Fendi thing. She didn't do the Karl Lagerfeld thing. And interestingly enough, Andrew, we got to bring up this point that I researched. Obviously, I did not necessarily know this. K-pop fans were mad that her and Jennie's dresses weren't as spectacular as they could have been because they kept it pretty clean, simple. Of course, still super expensive designer, but they were like very like kept it simple.
Because the K-pop fans were like, no, you guys missed your opportunity. You could have stood out.
Right.
You could have worn something really loud.
So I guess what does it say about K-pop fans? Because they make you rich, they make you famous, they follow your every move online, they analyze it almost like you know, how basketball fans in Taiwan were analyzing Jeremy Lin's every move. But then I guess I could see how that could be bad in a way too.
Well, you could look at it one way that they kind of stood out by the fact that their dresses were so simple. Or, who knows, some people were kind of like, you know, Jennie and Song, you know, maybe you go more humbly and then we don't try to do too much and just present yourself as like humble women from Korea.
Yeah,
possibly,
who knows?
right?
I mean, honestly, I thought it was cool the way they were taking photos there because it was more like squad.
Right.
You know, I think that's tight.
You're not even supposed to have your phone out there or something.
That's a
I don't
good
know.
point.
There's
So
like some bunch of rules with the Met Gala guys. You know,
you regular plebes might not know how the high society of Bruce Wayne and all the philanthropists go. Moving on to number 9, Andrew Ashley Park. She's been in Emily in Paris, Joyride. She went with the fishnet dress from Michael Kors. I've been seeing Ashley Park pop up a little bit. She's actually from Michigan, just like Steven Yeun.
She was also in Beef.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of Koreans from Michigan getting on right now. And my cultural hot take is that sometimes you need to be from a very Americana, Midwest, American, Middle America type place. I'm sure they're from good families there. But, you know, it's around them, you know, people eating chili bowls and all that stuff to, like, navigate media.
Yeah. No, it definitely helps to be very American at your heart, but also Asian. And I think
like
that
you have to have like a countryside.
I think that's what Steven Yeun and Ashley Park are. I know that they're proud of being Asian. They can play those characters. Obviously, we know Steven can from Minari, but I'm saying like, it's cool that they're from a very American place. Like, we're talking about the Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an Asian rapper would probably have to be from the inner city to get by in the rap world. It makes sense, right?
To get respect in the, yes, probably something like that. It's basically along those lines. All right, David, number 10, we got Mindy Kaling. Mindy Kaling has been a star for like 2 decades now.
She was in The Office?
The Office, and then she had her own show, and then she's doing this, and she has another show.
And didn't she like write on The Office too, or she wrote 30 Rock, right? So I forgot. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, she's respected in the comedy writer world, and she's a hilarious actress. Obviously, like, I guess
her new Netflix show Velma's a little bit more controversial, though.
Yeah, I heard that one got pretty bad reviews.
Up and down. I actually I watched some of it. I did not think it was as bad as the critics said.
This is
our
first South Asian on the list.
Yeah, she's wearing a Iranian designer called Jonathan Simkai. I mean, I think my big takeaway was that you know, I think her writing's always been super smart. It's always interesting talking to my Daisy comedian friends about what they think about Mindy Kaling. But I would say generally they're way less like critical of her than like internet commenters.
No, but I think at a time a lot of people were viewing her somewhat as like a sellout brown girl because she would always like
make her love interest a white guy, right?
Love interest, and I'm sure she in real life she probably does date a lot of white guys. You know, but she's in the industry. Like that's
a lot.
I mean, it is what it
anybody, even the guys in the industry, probably date white people. To be honest,
yeah. I mean, a lot of people just do because it's just American entertainment, and it's just like
right. To get to the Met Gala, don't you have to rise some ladder of the Anglosphere, whether it was in arts and fashion? But it's not arts and fashion in Asia,
unless you're
arts and fashion of the Western world.
Yeah, and I've been overall a fan of Mindy Kaling. I think she's funny, so shout out to her.
But controversial too. Yeah, I mean, some people
she
like,
looks good after all these years. I'm gonna say she looks good.
Every community is hypercritical of like the first person from their world to like enter echelons of a new industry.
I mean, if the fans want to get mad about a brown girl dating a white guy, here the next one we got Priyanka Chopra
Jones.
Jonas,
I'm sorry, right. Jonas,
yes.
She is a Indian actress and pop star who is married to Nick Jonas. She wore a Valentino dress inspired by Karl Lagerfeld. I would say that the back part was pretty cool. It looked almost fantastical to me, like I had never seen this like big thing that she was holding in her hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think Priyanka, she does a lot. Obviously,
Probably controversial in India, probably for like patriarchal dudes.
Oh, I think she's controversial on the internet for internet guys. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Not like IRL necessarily, but for sure the internet.
No, I mean, let's be honest. She was at one point considered like the most beautiful celebrity in India.
Right.
So
she was the next one after Aishwarya Rai kind of aged out.
So for
right?
her to marry a white dude who's Nick Jonas is cool. I think no one really has a problem with him. He's like a chill white dude.
Dude, he's not white, bro. He's Italian.
He's
he
Italian.
might be part
No,
Sicilian,
it's true.
bro.
True, he's a little dark hair.
I would say that she fights for a lot of women's rights in areas of the world that might be more old school, which is pretty dope. And she married a Jonas brother, and I think it actually is a really interesting story. Actually, I to be honest, I didn't know much about it until I just researched it for this video. It's very interesting. It's multi-layered.
Yeah, no, I think they have a great marriage. It looks cool. Good for them.
Moving on to number 12, Andrew, we got Vera Wang, a famous Chinese-American designer, wearing Vera Wang.
Vera Wang has been around for so long, man. She's still designing.
She's been famous in the fashion world for like, I don't even know how many decades.
Dude, shout out to the Taiwanese.
Andrew, Jay-Z had a line, do I too, you look like a lame who don't understand abroad with a mean shoe game, who's up on ... and Vera Wang.
He probably has met Vera Wang multiple times, to be honest.
You know what's interesting about Jay-Z, Andrew? Jay-Z is from the streets, where a lot of people, I'm sure they probably don't know what the Met Gala is either, but he actually is a perennial person at the Met Gala now.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure
Jay's like probably one of the only guys who made that transition. Number 13, Andrew, we got Olivia Rodrigo. She is a huge pop star. Obviously was an actress when she was younger. She is half Filipino. She's wearing Thom Browne in a stringy, eye-catching string dress.
Olivia Rodrigo. What do you think, David? Do you think that, obviously, I think overall Filipinos are pretty happy for her, pretty proud of her. Does she need to do any more Filipino things? Or do you think, like, as far as her proving, I mean, she's Filipino. She doesn't have to really prove it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the photos with her and her grandparents. I mean, I would say she's definitely Latina passing. I'm not saying that she ever leaned into it or like faked it or anything like that.
But I would also say a good amount of Filipinos are also Latino passing.
Yeah. I would like to see her do more Filipino stuff in the future, but if she doesn't, man, I don't think anybody's going to really say anything.
All right, how about this, guys?
It's different than Eileen Gu, who won a gold medal for China.
Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, maybe Olivia, she needs to like, I need to see her make lumpias.
No, she needs to do a song with Apple to App from, the Black Eyed Peas and stuff.
I feel like there's a more relevant Filipino artist right now.
Moving on, Christine Chiu, Andrew. She is a rich woman from Bling Empire because everybody on the show is rich.
Rich woman from Bling.
She had the wild Madonna vintage Chanel dress on. One thing I thought was cool about it is who was going to think you're going to bust out a dress from the old days, from like 30 years ago?
Shout out to Christine Chiu. I think she is, I guess I'm surprised that she's here at the Met Gala. I wouldn't expect like a reality show star from Bling Empire.
But she's really rich and a philanthropist.
Hey.
That's, in fact, that might even be holding more true to the old ideals of the Met Gala before all the celebrities polluted it.
Well, shout out to her, man. And here's the thing, guys. You do need rich Asians to care about Asian things.
And do you need the rich Asians that were already rich? Because actually, low-key, guys, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure you guys do. There are a ton of rich Asians in the world, but actually in terms of rich famous ones like Christine Chiu, not a lot.
Yeah.
Do you need these people to be high profile?
You don't need them to be high profile, but you do need them to care about Asians on some level.
Right. Moving on, number 15, we got Wendy Deng and Grace Murdoch, who is her daughter that she had with Rupert Murdoch. And interestingly enough, Andrew, Wendy Deng from Jinan Shandong, same place as Huang Wenji, yellow braised chicken,
Your favorite
pot
dish.
rice.
I bet Wendy Deng might know how to cook some Huang Menji.
Wow.
That's crazy to think about it. Now, Wendy Deng herself, a little controversial on some levels, but we don't have to go into her story. If you guys are interested, you just Google her.
Let me just say this. I think she might read power levels, Andrew, better than Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z.
Let me just tell you this, that when someone is able to do a biopic of her, it will be pretty interesting.
Yeah, you guys got to look into it. Moving on, number 16, we've got Sora Choi, who is a very famous model in New York City from South Korea and probably had the craziest Thom Browne dress out of everybody. It looked fantastical.
Oh, Sora is already a cool name, yeah.
I mean, I had no idea who she was, but I think she had the best dress there, honestly. I've never seen a dress that looked like this.
This next dress from this next person, this next celeb, was designed by someone that we know.
Yeah.
We met.
We're talking about Aaliyah Bhatt, who is a British Indian actress and had a pearl dress made by Prabal Gurung, who we know. Shout out to Prabal.
Prabal Gurung. We see him around New York all the time. He's Nepalese. He's a cool dude and very supportive of the Asian movement, of Asian empowerment.
I thought her dress stood out just because she didn't do the Karl Lagerfeld thing. I was kind of getting sick of seeing people with the leather gloves because I was like, man, shout out to Karl Lagerfeld, but man, there was a lot of too much influence. I don't know. I mean, it's just nice to see a switch up.
Right.
And last but not least, Andrew, we've got Tsai Shu Kun, which is one of the top male models in China. He's wearing Prada. That's who he's signed with. And it still kind of had some ancient dynastic drapiness to it.
But David, he's actually not even a model.
Oh, he's not a model?
He's a singer and rapper.
Oh, my gosh.
He's one of the hottest, I wouldn't say he's not
probably
a rapper.
like a Jay Chow or a Chris Wu type of rapper.
He's not a rapper like Higher Brothers, but he does rap. I think I've heard him rap. He's actually kind of good at it.
Yeah,
he's not bad. He's got some
yeah.
tracks. Dude, he's big in China. He's huge in China, actually. So
this is what they love in China, Shout out to them.
I mean, he's beautiful, man. David, do you think, all right, to wrap this all up, that was actually 18 Asians. Is there a 19th one?
I think they doubled up because of Grace Murdoch and stuff.
Anyway, so should the Asians even care that Asians are showing up at the Met Gala, or this is more for the industry to care?
All right, it's definitely more for the industry. If you're in the industry or you're industry adjacent like us, I guess you already knew a lot of these people off the top of your head. But I don't think your average Asian American should care. But what they should know is that there's more Asians, I guess, entering high society in fields or like rising the ladder in fields that previously had not a lot of Asians at high levels.
Do you think it is? Do you think that once you get invited to the Met Gala, you are actually part of high society, or you not real? I mean, it's not like you're part of the Illuminati.
No, I don't think so. But I think there are people who, for sure, if there is an Illuminati, know them that are at the Met Gala.
Do you think it's good that more Asians are getting up to this tier? Because the more Asians that get validated by the powerful systems, that means there's more Asians with some leverage or say, and as long as that they are like good people and pro-Asian and care about the goodness of the world, then overall that makes everything better.
Ultimately it's good, but in terms of like how much good it does, it really depends on what they do with their power and their influence and their platform, right? If they bring it back to the Asian American community, what tiers, what income levels are they impacting? What issues do they value and prioritize? Because everybody only got 24 hours in a day and so much brain power.
I would say this, the narrative and the image is that Asian celebrities are generally like nicer, better people than a lot of the other celebrities. I feel like that's the general, like Simu is seen as a very good boy, good man in Hollywood.
Right. He's not going to do
not weird. He doesn't do a lot of drugs. He's
right.
not going to get in a scandal, all this other stuff. It's like clean people. So I guess there's more clean Asians, whether or not they're rich or super talented or good looking, whatever, it doesn't matter.
A lot of Asians have been told to be a doctor at some point. I don't know if Johnny Depp, Charlie Sheen, and Robert Downey Jr. had ever attempted to be a doctor.
Basically, I'm just saying maybe there should be more Asians in politics and at the Met Gala, because Asians
I mean, to be honest,
are nice
guys,
people.
Long story short, the reason why it's impactful to people who don't care and really don't care is because Asians have to be strong in particular fields that they were always traditionally weak in.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, let us know what you think of the Asians at the Met Gala. Let us know what you thought of our analysis, what you thought of their outfits. Let us know in the comment section below. Hot Pot Boys, we breaking everything down. Silly to serious, guys. There's no limits. Till next time, we out.
Peace.